Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We're rounding out week 2 with Enclave versus MNM. And MNM, pretty disappointing game for them yesterday, unfortunately, as we do have a quick look at our rosters. Only Angel taking on his former team. I was genuinely impressed by him, even though they lost yesterday. Interested to see how this matchup goes. Genuinely am.
Rock solid mental from the Enclave top laner, and also Sykes as well as former MNM player. So both the solo laners here playing against their former team. So gonna be very interesting to see whether it factors much into their performance. Many a times when players play against their former teams, normally boost their confidence. They want to try and smash the previous team, really. And yeah, like you say, disappointing start for MNM. Certainly a lot of the games, the way that they've lost the two that they have, things go a little bit different in some of the team fights they've had. They very easily could be sitting at the top of the table at the moment. So whilst it is definitely, unfortunate, very sad for them, I think they can still hold their heads up high. And looking into this game, I'm sure they'll still have that same level of aggression that we've seen pretty much throughout most of their games.
Well, we are a little bit off before we get into picks and bans. So we have a little bit more time to talk about our predictions for picks and bans. So far, we've actually been pretty decent on the old ban phases.
Yeah.
What are we expecting to see in this game? Are there any particular pocket picks, or do you think it's just going to be more of the same?
I think it's going to be more or less the same. I expect to see Seraphine still remain pretty much permanently banned. I believe Tyrex the only person to have gotten his hands on Seraphine in the regular split. I know Shiklin played it in the promotions to get into the UKLC, but I think, as far as I remember, he's the only person that's had his hands.
We've had it twice. We've had it support and we've had it mid so far.
Did we get support?
Yeah, we've had a support Seraphine. It was all on like the first week. But yeah, Shiklin was one of the players we did get to see it on. It was in the same day, I think, actually, or was the day after.
Could have been, but yeah,
it's all merging. It's all
starting to come together now. No, but yeah, I expect Seraphine to probably remain permanently banned. We've seen a pretty high priority on Set as a champion from MNM, which is definitely unique to them at the moment. Set not really considered, in the meta as things are, but he's still got a very strong kit when utilized properly, and they've been doing a fairly good job of it so far. And if they feel like it's helping out or aiding their drafts, then power to them. So yeah, I would expect maybe some more Set priority potentially, or not necessarily priority, but maybe later on in the draft they feel like it might just help out with flex or what have you. And yeah, I think other than those two picks, you should probably expect to see more of the same as the meta source starts to solidify.
Yeah, I think that is probably going to be the game plan. My face has just gone white as I'm cheating and pulling up my cheat sheet because I can't remember anything. Really merging together. So yeah, Enclave got their first win yesterday versus Demise.
Yeah.
MNM have only won versus Demise as well. So both of these teams have only beaten the bottom team in the league. That's probably like the really big thing to hit on here. Is this is their first win for either team against a team that isn't the bottom.
Yeah.
So a lot to prove here for a win, and we saw life from Enclave yesterday. Honestly, it started pretty rough for them. Only Angel getting hardcore camped and then just setting up the team constantly for some really, really big plays.
Yeah, Demise, they may have lost that battle, but one thing they may have won was at least attempting to break Only Angel's mental. You don't often see top laners get bullied that hard in a game. I've not seen in a competitive match any member of a team that's supposed to be farming have 20 CS at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He was like 4 levels down. He had to roam mid at 10 minutes. He just couldn't lane.
Do you remember when we did the gold toggle and he had the same gold as his support?
The same.
That was sad. That was really sad. Now, unfortunately, we do have a couple of ping issues going on with some of the players before we can get into this game. So until they're resolved, we actually can't get going with champ selects, hence why we're on us for a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly throw to a break, and when we're back, we'll be back with that champ select. We just need to buy a little bit more time while we wait for our issues to get resolved. So we'll see you for game number 4 in a second. issues have been fixed and we're ready to get going into our game between Enclave and MNM. So all good to go. Bringing up the champ select. I can't see it on my screen, but you can see it on yours. There we go.
Yeah. Here we are. Picks and ban.
All right, so Syndra's going to be the first ban here in this game. What do you think we're going to see banned away?
I'm hoping we just continue to see the usual power picks removed. I mean, we did see, we've seen a lot, like Akali slip through, Pantheon slip through, but some of these bans are starting to signal to me, because we're already through 2 of them, we might end up seeing some of these champions up, because Galio, Syndra are not always the common bans. Seraphine, however, definitely is a very common one here in the UKLC.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
All right, well, Kali's still open. Olaf, we expect to see a red side Olaf at some point here. I feel like if you don't let the Olaf, if you let the Olaf through, blue side is going to first pick it, and that is that's a real feels bad ban. So for now, the Hecarim is going to get removed from Cleanser. We did see Cleanser pretty much save the day yesterday versus Demise on his Hecarim. So understandable ban.
Yeah, pretty much. Whilst Angel was... Well, Angel was something in the top lane. Cleanser took it up upon himself to farm up a Storm and pick up a bunch of kills, and on the back end of pretty much every single fight, just take every single kill credit.
So much open. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, it's
so
okay.
much open.
There is a lot open, Jake, and that kind of worries me. I'm not sure what this final ban for MNMA is going to be. It really could be anything. Whether they'll default Olaf ban is kind of yet. Yeah, see, Camille was still open, so they feel like they have to remove it. And now Enclave, loads of options. We could just see the Olaf first pick like this, but the other option would have also just been taking the Graves into it. And whilst you may lose some early skirmishes, you're still kind of going to outscale in the grander scheme of things. So I would actually just expect, at least in this rotation, Kazuro to get his hands on the Graves itself. And they just take another priority pick that they want. The Kaiser is up for Harry. Pantheon's still up as well. There's so many champions.
Yeah, Harry also likes that Jin as well, so that's up and available.
Yeah.
There's so much open there. Akali, that's going to be the Pantheon lock-in. I mean, if they lock in like a Pantheon Akali right now, that is actually disgustingly strong lane assignments for
it's
MNM
a lot of early skirmishing to have to deal with. I would like to see the Kaiser, because the Kaiser is one of the couple of AD carries that can actually deal with Olaf as the game goes on, in terms of once that Kaiser hits like the 2-item mark, the threat of Olaf diving in on your face just isn't as scary, because you've got so many tools to actually kite him about. So I'm a big fan of Harry getting his Kaiser once again. And it seems like on the cards for Enclave, they don't quite want to give over this combination, the Alistar Kaiser. So we could just see this one being locked in. It's been hovered for a while, so expectation is that.
There it is.
And
I'm a big fan of this Galio ban now. With that comp, I am like, if Galio was open right now, Enclave would have the ultimate dogpile comp, I think is the way to describe that.
Yeah.
Luckily, not going to be the case, but adding to the dogpile, adding to the madness is Samira, who's made it through the entirety of the day, not even been seen once in pixel bans. This is the first time we've seen her hovered. I actually think this is a really nice lock-in for Impulse. Impulse got a pentakill, actually, on it. Decides to ping away and head over to the Jin.
Both very long-range champions, to be fair. Yeah. But yeah, I prefer the Jin lock in here, in all honesty. I think the Samira has not found much success in the UKLC so far. Not really too much fault of the Samira players, in all honesty. I feel like a lot of the teams, when they fix Samira, the teams are just crumbled around her. It's not got much to do with her, but another Talia slipped through. My goodness, so many power picks up. And
honestly, there were so many. I want to see what gets taken away here now, because the Orianna, the Victor, the Zoe, all up as well in the mid lane. The Akali is still open and available, and I feel like one of these teams might want to lock that Akali in if it does make it through. So interested to see what the bans are going to be now.
Yeah, I mean, Akali might not be something to think about. I'll have to see. Orianna's definitely a spot-on ban here, giving so much utility to a composition that holds Olaf, and the Alistar is just kind of a given. So good takeaway there. And honestly, a lot of options for this MNM draft. I'm kind of excited to see how it's rounded out, because it's not often you see so many global / semi-globals locked in the first half of a draft like this. So eyes on there.
Maybe the Victor might be the other ban here. It's really ping back to us, but the Fresh was taken away.
Yeah,
from the side of Enclave. Just thinking what other supports there are. There's the likes of the Nautilus, although Nautilus is going to have a harder time into the likes of an Olaf, but
yeah, I would say
can deal with Impulse.
Braum would be my guest ban here.
Yeah,
if you're Enclave, Braum just does have a really nice time into the Alistar. Pretty good at nullifying dives. There's the Victor ban. Nice shout, Jake, once again. Been very on point today, actually.
I don't know what's happening. I like just everything. I'm seeing numbers and it's all making sense. There's the Leona ban. Okay, so the Braum is open. And Braum Kai'Sa actually has really nice synergy. You can stack those passives up together, and yes, you get a lot of burst and obviously the CC on top of that.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
nice pick if they go for that.
Yeah, no harm, no foul if they take it, honestly. It's a really stable lane. It holds the flex of where the Pantheon and Taliyah could potentially go, because of course Taliyah can go jungle and mid, Pantheon can go in all top 3 roles. So I feel like it's probably the champion discussing the most, but they actually want the Nautilus. Opting in for a little more engage, which I'm totally not opposed to. Having a little more setup for the Taliyah definitely isn't going to hurt this.
Yeah, I guess they were lacking in the engage department.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them. Enclave, on the other hand, not really hard lacking in it. See what they decide to go to kind of round this out. We did see so much Gnar in the NLC last week. It's incredibly strong. They've basically been shadow buffing Mega Gnar for so much time, but like it feels like nothing beats it in the one-on-one, and Sykes is going to lock in the Rumble. So Enclaves have a really, really spicy team comp here. MNM now need to find an answer to this Rumble mid. I mean, technically the Pantheon can go mid as well, so we'll see what they're going to round out with.
And Rumble would probably have a hard time into Pantheon Taliyah. So I'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, I would really like a final split push option actually from MNM here. Into into the Gnar.
I love Kled.
I am such a huge fan of Kled, honestly, here. It's going to be able to bully out Mini Gnar so well. It should scale pretty fine into the Gnar as the game progresses. It gives them another avenue of engage. The ultimate is also kind of functions technically as another global. It's going to help Nautilus get in because he's not got those big dive dashes. And honestly, I'm a big fan of the spicy draft. DBL is also someone who you may not know as a Kled player because he doesn't often likely get chances to block it in like this. But it's a champion that he actually played a lot coming into the UK scene. Playing it in things like the UKL when he had the opportunity to. So it's been a very long time since he's probably played it on the competitive stage. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the spice brought to the back end of the MNM draft. And Enclave side, honestly, just looking to skirmish and team fight with these Rumble ultimates around these neutral objectives and chokes. I think both teams have very clear sort of win conditions or things that they're likely to want to play towards.
I'm interested to see what builds we see come out. I'm expecting to see a Gore Drinker on Kled. To me, it's the Mythic. It makes the most sense. I haven't actually seen Kled since the rework of the items, but I'm expecting a Gore Drinker. In the mid lane, we've seen a few different Pantheon builds. Gore Drinker and the Eclipse typically tend to be the 2 top ones. So it'll be interesting to see what Tyrex decides to go for. Obviously, Eclipse gives a lot of burst. And you can kind of just let the Kai'Sa follow up on that. But the Gore Drinker gives you survivability, and Pantheon does fall off a cliff later into the game, but Gore Drinker makes him so hard to kill that he'll still be relevant later. It's kind of why Olaf is so strong at the moment, is he does fall off, but nowhere near as bad as he used to, because Gore Drinker makes him a tank, but is able to do damage because he's not actually a tank. He just has 2 health bars.
Yeah, something like that. He's got 2 health bars. And yeah, honestly, even Pantheon might not struggle too hard in this game in terms of scaling. Normally he does fall off a cliff, but outside of the Jhin, this is a relatively short-ranged composition from Enclave, so he may end up having a pretty nice time of it.
Well, we are on to the Rift for our final game of week 2 here at the UKLC. Enclave on the blue side, MNM on the red. Like I said before the break, neither of these teams has beaten a team that isn't Demise. They've only beaten the bottom team, so a real kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel teams at the moment for themselves, unfortunately. And we know both of these teams are capable of doing so much more. We know they're capable of climbing, into a top spot in the league, but they have to prove it. And a win here will be a massive confidence boost for either team.
Most certainly would.
Especially Enclave, a 2-0 week after a 0-2 start.
Yeah, definitely. It's the weird sort of mentality, honestly. I suppose it'll differ from team to team, but having 2 1-1 weeks or having 1 0-2 and a 2-0 week, I guess it feels nicer on the mental in terms of momentum.
It's the same as climbing, right? Like a win-loss feels so sluggish to play. But if you have a bunch of win streaks and then like a lose streak, that somehow feels better. Even if you play exactly the same amount of games and lose exactly the same amount of games.
I feel like you may have some people disagree with you on that. Because
I prefer a win streak and a loss streak to a. I'm sure there's plenty of people who disagree with me on that one, but personally, that's my preference.
Yeah, Impulse finding some nice bouncing grenades here. Sort of chip away at some of the MNM health bar, but it seems like now MNM trying to commit for this level 2, which they are going to reach first.
Yep, now going to be looking for that hook. Sorex is going to take it. Void Seeker on, and he takes so much damage, has to flash as the Ignite is burnt by Regan. Tyrix actually getting chunked out really heavily by Sykes in this mid lane. Sykes has got the Electrocute, so able to actually proc that fairly simply.
Yeah, power of Rumble, honestly. I think a lot of people undervalue or underrate how much damage this champion can actually put out, especially once he goes into that overheat zone. I mean, you can see Flame Spitter just kind of burning away at Tyrex's health bar, and Sykes wasn't really going out of his way to make sure that was landing onto him either. As Tyrex may look to get a cheater recall here, but I'd imagine wants to stay out on the map with this Talia. So just going to get a nice shallow ward. And all in all, very nice level 2 shove as well by the MNMA side. You can see the power of Nautilus Kai'Sa has been so oppressive for so long. Just the plasma stack is so ridiculous because Hook's 1 stack, auto attack is another stack.
It's kind of one of those tried and true duos that will never really see a fall off, like the Braum Lucian.
Yeah, it's
like Braum Lucian's always going to be not bad. I know Lucian's not really considered an AD carry, or at least a bot laner at the moment. But you know when he returns to that lane, expect to see Braum shoot up in priority. It's always when Kai'Sa's around, Nautilus is always hanging in the wings.
Yeah, give or take. That's kind of how it is. It's like Kai'Sa and Nautilus are the Braum Lucian of old.
I guess that's actually the same with the Pantheon Talia as well. Whenever one of those is meta, the other one kind of shoots up as well. Kazero getting chunked out pretty heavily by Sykes, but is able to jump away to safety. Actually got himself a double crab start here.
Yeah, that's honestly really good, considering this is the Olaf matchup, which, for the record, for anyone who isn't familiar with this jungle matchup, you ask any Talia OTP who they ban if they're a jungler, and I guarantee you the answer is probably Olaf. So it's a very one-sided matchup, typically in the early game, but found himself a double skull, so you can be relatively happy with that. Did lose his chicken camp, is the trade, but I'm not sure he's going to be too fussed, as Cleanser has a real nice path down if he wants to, just grump all the way to the dragon side. And honestly, Impulse and Sorex, if you can get a look at the bot wave, should actually be able to stack this up if they want to as well. So see if that is the case. If they stack this wave, by the time Cleanser makes it to the bottom side, that will be a pretty big wave to have to catch if you're MNM, as DBL misses out on the charge. And honestly,
wow.
Yeah.
Getting bullied. Getting bullied.
Yeah. Power of the Gnar in that mini form can be so oppressive. But if he did land that charge and that hook, honestly, only Angel may have had to have ended up burning the flash. A significant amount of damage to actually take, even with no items in inventory. Fed's bases are pretty high. As what was once a shoving wave is still a shoving wave, but it's frozen. And until Cleanser makes it here to try and break this, Enclave are going to feel a little bit awkward about walking up. Certainly with no vision, and Kazuro's actually in the area, and Tyrex has just dinged 6. He's going to start this recall.
Cleanser spotted out on a ward though. They go for the headbutt Polv, and his fight's looking to break out. Impulse not going to find the turnaround. That's a big shove back actually.
Pantheon's here.
Get a lot of damage. Here comes the Pantheon. Here comes the turnaround. Tyrex finds first blood. TP to follow as they actually throw out.
Ooh.
Everybody is on the red carpet. Health bar's burning low, and DBL about to gnar out. Sorry, DBL's not the gnar. He's
both
the other
technically
rides a lizard.
Yeah, there's the other Yordle. They're both technically transforming Yordles as far as League of Legends is concerned.
They both have bars, which gives them more health
Yes.
and lets them use their ultimate.
Yes. Absolutely. Great analysis, Jake. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for. Top tier analysis. Look at those
But yeah.
footprints he leaves. He was leaving those footprints
Yeah.
on the base, which is stone floors.
Well, honestly, Scar
just
must
left-
just be that heavy. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, he's wearing armor.
Yeah, he is wearing armor. But nice little fight there in the bottom side. It actually starts off with Regan. Oh, hello. Oh.
Cleanser smited it. Puts up the wall, and Kazero. We're looking to turn this around. There is no ulti available to Cleanser. Tyrex just gets a great shield up, and Sykes now rooted in. The charge from downtown. DBL slides in to make sure that he can jump back to his lane.
Yeah, just back and yeah, we was gonna get a replay of that bottom side, but we saw Cleanser and Sykes try and get a little bit too aggressive. What replay is this? It's the bottom lane fight. All right, so Regan honestly just stepping a little bit too far forward, wants to lay down the pressure. More or less just because Kazuro's here, he feels a little bit confident, but not respecting that Cleanser could be here. It's a very nice shove back from the Talia, and Pantheon's here. Enclave not quite respecting that. Pantheon will make it here first, and does end up picking up the second kill, and it's a very nice ultimate from Rumble as we now get this next replay of Cleanser walking in, taking the red buff, and Kazura says, all right, you guys aren't going to get to escape. Tyrex has technically second move, but it's Regan with the first move from the bottom side of the map.
Very different fight if Cleanser had 6. He now has 6, and he's looking to invade him once again.
Is, the third chicken camp in a row.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I don't think Kazura cares too much because he's actually a full level up.
Yeah. Got 202. That'll be where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Very impactful. 100% kill participation on the Talia. Got the Lost Chapter. Cleanser rocking the Phage and the Ruby Crystal is Tyrex gonna get traded onto here. Has the shield. Look for Regan's hook. Goes a little bit wide and Sykes able to dodge away. But Sorex might want to turn this one around. Ooh. They are waiting though as in the top side, Cleanser is doing the Rift Herald. Getting collapsed on though by MNM. Running out of time to do this objective. Is on a ward and the spear comes over the wall. Not going to be enough to get the kill. And meanwhile, Harry's just been quietly farming up bot side. He's crewing himself a very slight CS lead over Impulse.
Yeah, and very interesting situation to talk about there. So it's actually MNM who rotate up first to this mid lane play, trying to take down Sykes. And Enclave are a little slower on the ball, but the issue is with Cleanser already on the Herald, just kind of because of the geography of the map, MNM can't really full commit into the Herald just because of the way the top lane state is. And if Enclave just walk out into that choke, MNM immediately kind of have to respect because Sorex has that flash headbutt pulverize combo as Kazura is looking for a little bit of revenge on this red buff side. Is going to find just that. A lot of posturing potentially towards a bottom lane dive. And yeah, I mean, Harry, it's maybe the third or fourth wave he's had entirely by himself. He's halfway to level 8.
Just held it here for so long.
Yeah, and I mean, Sorex is level 4. We do have Cleanser in the backside here. Sykes, no flash. So
yeah, he is in for a whole world of trouble. Puts down the equalizer, but gets Seismic shoved in, and Regan cashes in on the kill. Meanwhile, though, Harry has to be careful. 3 members bot side. Wave is going to crash in, and Harry is going to be able to collect this wave uncontested. Quite happy, just farming away. So what we see from Harry on the Kai'Sa whenever he's picked it is he kind of just farms until he's like strong enough just to 1v9.
Yeah, and scary thing here, at least I'll try and do some psych reading for Enclave, is that the reason why they don't necessarily want to commit to a full bottom play is that Pantheon can just rotate down and he doesn't really have to walk far to actually cast his ultimate to get to the bottom lane. So they just don't feel like committing onto that bottom side tower when honestly they probably could have. So missed opportunity. MNM make a play without actually going punished for it. And the gold lead, all things considered, well actually no, 11 minutes in, 2k gold lead is pretty sizable. I shouldn't downplay that one. As you can see, all of the gold lead, give or take, is in that mid jungle Talia Pantheon. Nara's actually pulled really far ahead. That's basically just all from CS.
Yeah, I'd like to see where Harry's at an item-wise at the moment. Got the Noon Quiver and a pickaxe. Not sure if that's enough to upgrade the Q, though.
No, you need
just
the
rated. No, the Q's not upgraded off the back of that.
Yeah, you need the serrated Dirk on top of that to get the evolve through. Which you'd imagine probably going to be his next reset unless he has the correct amount of gold for Gale Force. Which I actually don't know the complete total cost for at this point.
Still needs the
He needs the
Quick Cloak, which is 600 gold, and then it's 420. No, it's 525 afterwards to finish that up. Regan chilling smited and might just be in for a bit of hurt here. Has got the flash if he needs to clear the wall, but he's just waiting for the rest of the team, and that's the ghost popped by Cleanser. Regan playing that really smart, not blowing a single summoner spell, holding his ult, holding everything. He was completely fine checking that trade. Only Angel, though, is starting to really bully up here, but we have to hold that because Harry's getting jumped onto. The seismic shove goes a little bit wide onto Sorex. Impulse chasing as the curtain is called. Harry takes one shot. The equalizer goes down, and the red carpet is laid. The fourth shot hits onto Kazira. The flash hook by Regan. Tyrex comes in with the spear. The seismic shove a little bit wide, and Tyrex flashes forward to find the stud. MNM turn it around and get a kill.
Yeah, it looked like originally it was going to actually end up being an Enclave favored fight. Teleport comes down early from Sykes, but honestly, Tyrex does a pretty good job of making it down in time to the skirmishes. Only Angel.
Yeah, losing
well
really heavily here. The charges come out by DBL. The flash is there. The pocket pistol. Can he get the shot? Yes, he can. DBL with the solo kill on Only Angel.
Yeah, who cares about 40 CS deficit if you can just run down your opponent's top laner?
He doesn't even have a mythic.
He doesn't even have a... No, okay. Only Angel didn't have his Divine Thunderer finished up. But let's look at this replay here. It actually starts with Harry getting caught out from an Alistar ultimate, and then a very nice chase. The equalizer isn't quite enough to clip enough members and slow them down, and Tyrex actually rotates in on Fog. Doesn't go over the wall originally, but takes the flash eventually to finish up the kill onto Sorex, and Enclave just overcommit a tiny bit for the kills here, and Only Angel just looks like he's greeting for the demolish stack. He already had the plate, so very unnecessary realistically, and pays for it with his life. DBL finds solo kill.
It's actually the full tank build as well. Got the
so
farmies.
That's what I did want to talk about briefly, but we've had a fair amount of action pretty consistently, which seems to be a trend of MNM games, actually. Yeah, so Kled, since the item rework, you did bring up the Gordring Threads, but apparently I can't talk about items yet. No?
You got time.
Whoa!
Wow. Eclipse.
Yeah, that's the lethality build. It's the perks of completing up the item. Your immediate burst damage is just so damn high. But honestly, Kled players during the preseason, especially when Aegis had its temporary stint of being incredibly oppressive. The full tank Kled, give or take, with maybe a Titanic Hydra chucked in there, was pretty much the build, and I think it probably still is the build.
Looking like it. Turret's going to crumble there to MNM. They've got themselves their first turret of the game. That was after plates, unfortunately, so no bonus gold from that. But you got a 303 Pantheon with the Eclipse finished up. You've got your AD carry closing in on their Mythic, and MNM are going to pick up their second Rift Herald as well, as Harry makes his way back towards this bot side of the map. Doesn't have the Gale Force yet, so probably not feeling too spicy. Harry actually going to get caught out here. Has got the ulti, but multiple members coming in. The teleport's there. Dodges away from the headbutt. Gets caught by the pulverize. Here comes the Grand Starfall. And DBL and Tyrex looking to chase. Almost got the charge. Bear Trap on a rope goes a little bit wide as they do get the slow off. Sorex is so low. Tyrex gets the stun. Gets the turnaround. And MNM punishing Sorex, making him into a beef burger.
Yeah, and this is kind of the nice thing about this draft from MNM. It's fundamentally a good play from Enclave, trying to punish this Herald take on the top side. But, you know, there's so many globals available so consistently. I mean, even if once Kazura hits level 11, the ultimate rivals, I think, the range of Pantheon are as well. So if MNM ever feel like they want to respond to a play Enclave are making, chances are they'll have the tools to do it. And it's just very well played from Harry to dive away from that headbutt pulverize combo. And the response is there. It's very clean.
I do want to talk a little bit about MNM as a team so far, because I think what we've seen from them is they've been really like just close. It's been like painful to watch the MNM games, because it's like every one of their games they've been competitive. I don't think we can take that away from them. While we were saying, yeah, they've only lost to Demise, their games have been competitive, but it's just been like little things that throw them off. And now we're getting to see MNM play a more decisive, a more controlled game. Honestly, this is the MNM I expected coming into the season, and we're finally seeing it. So I'm hoping this is a kind of a trend that they can continue.
Yeah, so do I, as former long-standing member. But yeah, I think one thing sort of that's definitely hampered them in some of these losses, definitely saw the style of drafts. They've not really been heavy in the scaling department, with the exception of, I actually think, the Demise game where they had the Seraphine. So these guys, I mean, I think it just plays into the mentality that they seem to have. They want to be aggressive. They want to make plays. They want fights to be really messy. But it does have that, you know, double-edged sword of, hey, if you don't get far enough ahead, you do need to meet those execution thresholds when you have team compositions like this. This is a composition like that as well.
I think when you said messy, that was the thing that kind of jumps out to me, because with MNM, they are probably the messiest team we've had. It makes them very fun to watch. Their fights are scrappy. They're constantly looking for action. I mean, I think we've had more kills this game than we have in all of the other games combined today.
At this point, yeah, most
yeah, actually, at this point, yeah. If you're wondering why we're on us, unfortunately, we have had Impulse having a little bit of a lag spike. Ping spike is the word I'm probably looking for. So we are just waiting to get that ironed out and get back into the game. Hopefully shouldn't be too long. He is in the middle of reconnecting to the game. We can carry on with this. But honestly, MNM, they're playing their scrappy style. They don't really back down for anyone. And in this game, it is working. They've got themselves a pretty significant gold lead and 2 dragons to boot. Big thing is it's an Ocean Drake as well.
Yeah.
DBL is going to love the Ocean Drake, especially as a tank Kled. If Enclave can stack 4 Drakes back to back and they get the Ocean Soul, it's so GG. With an Olaf with a Gold Drink or an Ocean Soul, honestly, it's just unwinnable.
Honestly, that could be nearly insurmountable for MNM. I think the thing saving this, air quote saving this draft for them is the fact that Enclaves doesn't really outscale MNM's either. So I think it would just be a really irritating to have to deal with buff. And if Enclave actually were to secure that 4 Ocean Dragon, Ocean Soul, they would just have to play out the fights a little slow, make sure that they can actually utilize the Soul properly and to their advantage. But I think we do have an unpause.
Yeah, it looks like the pause has ended and we're getting ready to go back into the game. Yep, that is the case. So, with this 3,000 gold lead, what can MNM do? Dragon spawning up in 1 minute 30. I expect to see action here. I think the thing to keep our eyes on is the positioning of the wards and the kind of the entrance into the area.
Yeah.
But also, only Angel's Narbar.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the thing we need to watch, because if he has the Narbar charged up, this fight could be really messy for MNM.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong team fighting tools for the side of Enclave, and it's one of the drawbacks of having champions like MNM have, is that their ultimates aren't big impact ultimates, right? They're mobility ultimates. They're, I need to be on this side of the map immediately ultimates. Whereas Enclave side, you know, the Mega Gnar can be more than game-changing. The Rumble ultimates and chokes are devastating. You know,
the wombo is
the wombo
frankly
potential,
disgusting.
Yeah, the wombo potential is there. So it's something that MNM have to certainly respect a whole bunch, but for now they've been playing out the map relatively well, and I think it's important to actually ask, what can Enclave do from this kind of position in the game? And honestly, in this situation is pretty difficult, because MNM, approaching this dragon, they had much stronger trading tools. Trading tools being things like Herald, for example, is a trading tool, right? Or Jungle Camps is another trading tool. We see Enclave on the top side of the map looking for that. They did take away the Krugs, but nothing else is really spawning too soon, though the Chicken Camp wants to...
Yeah, Jungle is on the wrong side of the map as well,
yeah,
so MNM can just take this for free.
So Enclave, they're in a position where they can't really trade much. Like, they could full commit to the top side, right? Sure, let's say they send Sorex up there to make it a 3-man dive, but one, you're committing 3 members to the top side of the map. 2, we just had a Herald drop on the bottom side, which is also MNM strong side anyway, so they could very easily just rotate down. And honestly, if Enclave take too long, you could even see pretty stupid things happen, like the base gets cracked open or what have you. So Enclave in a tough position there, but moving forward, they just have to try and find some nice flank angles. It's kind of the only way. They have to try and make a pick before some of these major objectives, because outside of that, chances of winning team fights are relatively slim, bar, of course, those really big wombo combos.
Yeah. We're seeing actually Harry move away from what we've been seeing a lot of the Kaisers do. There's the Serrated. He actually prioritized double daggers before the Serrated. Really wanted to get that extra attack speed, stack up that Void passive as quick as possible. I like that, actually. I do think it's quite an important part. It's going to slow down this eventual collector we expect to see, but the kind of immediate spike of having the extra attack speed on the Kaiser was ultimately worth it. Now the Serrated is finished, the Q is upgraded, he's got a lot of attack speed to work with, and I think Harry's feeling pretty confident, even with, you know, components and multiple items in his infantry. While it slows him down from getting his second item, it does give him some kind of level of relevance. With the 4 assists and all the plates and towers that his team have been able to take, he should be fairly heavily ahead of Impulse at the moment. We can have a quick toggle of the gold and see the difference in the AD carries. It's only 300, so nothing major.
I think it's kind of, in a way, well, I was going to say impressive, but then that's maybe a little bit biased. So what I actually mean to say is Enclave just haven't really punished Harry a lot, considering how MNM were normally playing away from him, right? He was almost...
To be fair, they tried to.
I mean, they tried, yeah, they tried to. But they really couldn't. It was a pretty difficult scenario to consistently find strong punishes. I mean, you can see the gold graph has just been a pretty consistent rise, actually. You don't often see gold graphs so steadily increase over the course of a game like that. But...
It's interesting, all the gold graphs we've been bringing up, because I think back to like maybe 1 where it was like up and down massively, but for this week, these kind of gold graphs are the ones we're seeing. Like,
yeah, these have been very common.
Rises with sharp spikes every now and then. That is pretty much the shape of every gold graph. You could bring any gold graph up from the day, and I would be like, yeah, that's this game. That seems fine.
Yeah, it seems like it was this week. Yeah, I do agree with you. We'll have to see. Like we said, Enclave, they have to try and make a pick. Kazuro could be that pick.
Yeah, Kazuro has to flash away, but Kalensa's looking to run into him. They've used everything. Harry slides in. Harry slides back out, but DBL charging forwards. Ragnarok's about to time out, and that will be Regan losing his life. Spear comes in from Tyrex as well to secure another kill. MNM trading 2 for 1. Does mean there's no junglers available for a potential Baron turnaround, but
I think Regan lost
overall pretty good.
Because Regan's alive, by the way. All right, well, let's do this replay.
Regan
yeah, Regan's alive. But Kazuro just not quite in time with the MNM bot lane there. Just face checking a little too fast, and he does get dropped, but the response is very immediate from DBL. Ultimate's up, takes down Cleanser. Not quite sure how much damage that final spear did. I
mean, they have, other than Talia, they don't have too much AP. They have double AD top, so top side. So actually, seeing the Nash's Tooth come out, been a while.
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna get a W upgrade on this, because before you needed the Gwynsies to give you a little bit of extra AP, but now that it's 100 AP on the Nashes, you will get your W upgraded off this one item, I believe.
Yeah. It's a flat 100 AP, so it should give the upgrade. So, I mean, I'm not entirely opposed against this, but I feel like maybe the other builds would give him flat out more damage. This is obviously in an attempt to mix the damage profile.
These Ws are going to hurt. That's all I'm going to say.
The Ws will eventually start to hurt once he does finish up that Nash's Tooth. Because the Evo just gives it so much flat damage. And the cooldown is quite ridiculous too. As Tyrex fancies himself a burger. Halfway through searing it.
He beef chopped half his health off.
Yeah. I think we've not really realized this dragon spawning in 10 seconds. MNM have all of the priority on this side. Enclave are gonna have to face check at some point.
One cheeky ward. There's 2 cheeky wards actually there. Sweeper's up on the Talia if Kazuro wants to try and take it out. Enclave
That was
have now
mega.
just wrestled their way forward. If we take a look at ultimates, Only Angel just times out, and that is not what they wanted to see. Narbar has evaporated, and the wall goes up to split the team off. Just blocking them out for the moment. The charge by DBL. He is running into Ruption as the Grand Starfall's been thrown down. Dragons continue to fire away, and Sykes is going to be able to take him out. MNM should just be able to finish the Dragon up right now. That's Ocean Soul. And Sykes will lose his life on the tail end. Harry goes very low. Only Angel flashes forward, gets himself the shutdown. This fight is actually so close. Double kill for Harry as he fades away, but DBL will be able to tidy this one up, and it will be an MNM ace. The Wallop and the Gnar back, as Only Angel is doing some pretty serious damage. Was talking about Gnar's damage, gets another Wallop off, and with the Divine Thunder, he's healing up fairly well, but Ocean Soul healing up a little bit too much. And MNM will ultimately take Soul and take the ace.
Very messy fight, but we'll have to see how close the margins were here, because Kazura actually dies in the pit. We'll see. Ulmut comes out in an attempt to sort of stop Enclave's approach, but it's not really the best wall in the world. You can see the fight kind of splits into two parts. You've got Sykes on the bottom side and the top side of the fight, where you had the Cleanser trying to dive into the three members, and fortunately, MNM are able to secure the Dragon. The Flame Spitter doesn't quite get, but look at the fourth shot. Boom! 627 onto Harry's health bar, which means Only Angel is able to pounce forward, secure that one, and Regan on the top side is 1v1ing the Enclave AD carry, and then this just is a wet noodle fight, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite impressive that Only Angel managed to build up that Gnar bar again within the fight.
Honestly.
You can see.
On the Blade of the Ruined King as his next item as well.
All right. Well, not too sure about that pickup.
Slightly different build than I'm used to seeing on the current Gnar, but
yeah, you would normally see a Sterax in its place in second item. I mean, this is more of a, hey, I'm on the side lane and I'm actually 1v1ing my opponent build.
And he's got a massive CS lead over DBL.
Yeah, but
although DBL
actually
also has a lot of kills and assists. So.
Yeah, DBL's actually been present in these team fights a little bit.
Yes.
So, pros and cons.
on Harry's finished up.
Yeah.
MNM are on the wards here, so they know they've been spotted out. Only Angel's got teleport, but the Gnar bar's about to fade away, and
yeah,
MNM might just take this. I don't think the contestant's going to come forward in time. Another sweeper comes out, they're teleporting in. The wall blocks anybody from getting over. Cleanser doesn't have flash. He can't get in. And that is going to be the engage. MNM need to keep himself alive. Harry pretty low on the health bars in the moment. Cleanser being locked up for the moment by Rugen. They use the Grand Starfall to get their way back out. Harry flashes over the wall. Tara running away. That will just be an easy double kill for DPL. Only Angel has nowhere to go. He's about to Gnar out, and he might be able to find himself a big turnaround here. Uses the stopwatch as the Gnar bar builds up. Looks for the Wallop. Can't quite find it, and Tarex takes him out.
Yeah, very nice time stun at the very back end there to stop Only Angel from Gnaring out. Don't think anyone would have dropped the Ocean Soul healing. You can see is already in effect. And a very nice call from MNM at the end of the day. If it was to do with Only Angel not having that Gnar bar up in time, and Kazura this time utilizing the wall to actually block off members properly. And honestly, not going to see an end, but definitely going to see an inhibitor drop, most likely, unless they feel like it should just be a back away safely here kind of deal. And it seems like that is going to be the case, but Gold lead balloons, almost 10,000 up. Things looking very, very uphill, to say the least, up mountain.
The hill has massively increased in the steepness there. Collective finished up for Harry on this base. You've got the Death Dance and the Black Cleaver on Tyrex now. And I feel like this might just be the final shove. They've still got Baron for a little bit longer. No, they don't. I think it's timed out.
No, they just got Baron.
No, they just got it. What
So they've got Baron for a while.
I'm used to having the our Baron timer, and it's
so
that kind of threw me off there. Elder's spawning up in 2 minutes as well. MNM are just grouping up and looking to look for one of these objectives, whether or not they're just going to shove into the base. There is a pretty big wave that DBL has topside that he can work with.
Right now, the minion wave being kept in the base of Enclave. The wave will eventually escape the base. MNM finally back out onto the map. You can see DBL on the top side. The rest of the team looking to just kind of stay opened out mid and bot. I think the goal probably going to be try and take down this mid inhibitor. And MNM still have to be a little bit respectful. Like we said, the ultimates of MNM aren't really those big team fight impact ults, right? You've got a lot of mobility coming out. Whereas on the other side, you've got Narbar, Mega Gnar, Rumble ultimate. We see the wall here coming down. Enclave are looking for a flank. This could be devastating, honestly.
Oh, wow. Perfectly placed. MNM catching members out. Harry slides straight back onto the backline. Sorex getting chunked out by him. He's doing a fair amount of damage, and MNM just way too far ahead. The charge by DBL as he comes in. And here's the Grand Starfall to close the game out. Tyrex jumps onto Impulse, gets a massive chunk off onto him as well, and forces him back. MNM will take this inhibitor. They do get the charge back onto DBL. He's actually going pretty low here. He's able to jump away to safety. The Skull bolts to the nearest bush. And MNM just looking to close this one out. Harry lands that Void Seeker as well. As waves are maybe a little bit too thin for them, so they might just have to look to try and take as much from the base as they can. We'll take this inhib and...
The Elder's spawning.
We'll take this inhib and now move away.
The Elder's spawning at a really awkward time. Tyrex might be caught out, actually.
Tyrex might be going very low here. Aegis keeps him alive, and DBL about to Gnar out. Only Angel goes back. He does have that Gnar almost off cooldown. Sykes is teleported back in. Rumble coming up fairly soon. Regan will sacrifice himself for the team. Zero's back on the map.
Oh, this is dangerous stuff, honestly. Ultimates from Enclave are here. You've got the Rumble ultimate back already. Cleanser has his ultimate. Only Angel just needs the Mega Gnar.
Ocean Soul is on MNM though, so they are able to heal back up. DBL, if he wanted to reset, can for the TP, but only Angel jumps over. Doesn't have the Narbar built up, and Harry doing a lot of damage to him. Jumps away for a little bit, as now the curtain gets thrown down, as Harry is just kiting perfectly here, finally taken out. There's so much use onto him, and with his Ocean Soul, MNM are still keeping themselves alive. DBL gets the Gnar back up, gets the Skull back up. Too many Yordles, but Impulse will be clapped, and it's a triple kill for Tyrex. It's a TP into the base. They don't need Elder. They don't need anything more than that Ocean Soul to keep the dreams alive. DBL will work away at this as the Grand Starfall slides in. Zero surfs in himself on the ice wall. And the global is just too oppressive. MNM, 27 kills to 9 at 30 minutes on the clock. Get an absolute stomp over Enclave.
We're going to push Enclave down in the standings.
Yeah.
And finally toppling a team that isn't Demise. And honestly, you kind of have to feel bad for Enclave on the back end of that fight. Or just the game in general, because honestly, if they weren't so far behind, if they hadn't given up the Ocean Soul as early as they did, you could see the potential of some of those Alistar combos into the Rumble equalizers. But there's too much healing from the Soul, too much gold in the pockets of MNM, and you could see on that final fight, Harry just survived for way longer than he deserved to.
Even though Harry died, Harry played that fight incredibly. And that wasn't the first fight he did that as well. There were I think there was two distinct fights in my mind where he got jumped onto, they blew everything to kill him, and he just did maximum DPS on the way out. Like his farewell was, you're on 20% and now my team can mop you up. Genuinely really, really good stuff there from Harry. Jamada, I know you have a couple of clips to talk about, and I'm sure you're ready to bring them up. So let's have a little look at our drawing board from this final game.
Yeah, so this is the final fight here. I'm not sure which clips I do also have, because I'm not sure if I'm going over another one as well. But here, it's just the overchase. So MNM, they stayed too long in the base, we just saw, and the Elder was spawning. They didn't respect the fact that the Elder is spawning, and this is actually a very precarious position to be in, because Harry and Kazura, we can see, are actually separated from the other two frontline members in Tyrex and DBL. Meanwhile, Enclave have full control of the river, and if they want to approach, they're going to have to deal with a Rumble Equalizer, they're going to have to deal with a Gnar ultimate once Gnar does actually end up stacking up the bar. And it's kind of just Enclave giving up this positional advantage that they don't really need to. They feel like they can chase in. It's more or less kind of only Angel going way too far in. And at this point, now Enclave feel like they're obligated to chase up and in. And all the while, Kazura's actually been on the side of this fight, waiting to pick his moment to actually take somebody down. And honestly, it's just the overchase. It's just a complete wrong decision to make. Overcommitting, wrong decision. You just want to take this Elder Dragon. You have ultimates and you have tools to stop MNM from approaching into this fight. ever. End of. There's nothing else to really say about it. And we just see the Ocean Soul on Harry just keeping him alive for so long. The shield keeps him alive. Eventually, he does drop to the damage of Sykes and the Olaf, but at the end of the day, it's too much damage done. We saw Kazura on the bottom side of the fight finally make his mark, and you can see the healing on the back end. How obnoxious it is. Just look at the ticks of all the damage. And Enclave, they had an opportunity to come back right there. Honestly, if they secure that Elder, could be it for them, but they overcommit. Only Angel must have just dragged them away, and that's kind of just how they end up losing the only opportunity they probably had to come back into the game there.
Yeah, honestly, really good stuff there from MNM. I think like Only Angel for me, I feel really sorry for him because he got picked on really hard yesterday. And then today he secured himself like a really big CS lead. He was looking really solid, and then it wasn't enough. Like he had his moments, but the rest of the team was starting to fall behind. And for Only Angel, it was probably quite a heartbreaking game to kind of play. Because I do think he didn't have a bad game at all, but DBL was having a really good game, and his team were just like a well-oiled machine. They were firing on all the same cylinders. Yeah,
MNM kind of doing what they've been doing, but this time the fights actually went in their favor. Enclave weren't able to successfully punish, and I think that's the difference between today's games and MNM's previous games. Resolve, for the most part, were able to punish them where applicable, although that game really it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And the other game, same thing really. MNM, Bulldog, they weren't able to pick up Casper when it was necessary, and he was able to take up the fights on the back end. And this time around, they weren't punished as hard. There wasn't no hyper carry in the game to keep hopes afloat for the other team, and they succeed this time.
Well, I called him dead, but he actually survived. We did have Regan in ready for an interview. So Regan, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Hello.
How'd you feel after that win? It was pretty dominant, to be honest, considering you've had some pretty rough games so far. So getting a win like that must feel pretty nice.
Yeah, feels good. I think it's just the best feeling is the team gelling, everyone playing well, comms good. That's what's important.
So talk to me a little bit about the team gelling. Obviously, getting a few games under your belt. How's the team how is the team gelling together? Was this like the first time where it was like, okay, we're all on the right page, or was it just other things that maybe cost you those games?
No, definitely not. I'm super confident in the way we've gelled. I feel like the way we've gelled is one of our biggest strengths. That's down to us as individuals and the coaching staff as well. Like our coaching staff is top tier. Like I reckon we'll win the split, and a lot of it will be to do with the coach staff diff. Like these guys work really hard and constantly giving criticism. And the big thing with our team as well is that everyone can give and take criticism really well.
Yeah, it's definitely an important thing to have as players and staff as well. It works both ways. But I just want to ask you, obviously this is your first split in the UKLC. How do you think the league's treating you? How are you enjoying some time on the competitive stage?
It's good, man. I love being put in high pressure situations and coming out on top. Yesterday was a bit of a rough one.
I bet yesterday was really rough, actually.
Yeah, it was a bit tough.
Interesting to hear that you think you guys are going to win the split. It's obviously been a rough start. Do you just think at this point, okay, it's smooth sailing from here, things are getting better? What teams are you keeping your eyes on as well? Because obviously, a look at the likes of Resolve, Bulldog, and Envision as the top three at the moment. How do you think you guys actually compare against them now?
I can't really speak for each individual team. For me, it's the most important thing is just focusing on us as a team and us as 5 players. And I'm so confident in all of us as individuals and us as a whole team as well. So in terms of where I place other teams, like none of the teams are bad that you mentioned at all. But it's more so I'm confident in us rather than me looking down on the other teams.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty humble way to approach it, to be honest, Regan. You don't think anyone's bad. You just are very confident in your team. I love that. Well, congratulations on the win. It was really good speaking to you. Nice getting a bit of insight from your point of view on everything. And good luck with everything. Honestly,
thank you, man.
Really impressive stuff. And I can't wait to speak to you again. See you later.
Good job with the casting, guys. See you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was honestly a really humble approach. Am I slowly turning into Pixels again? Is this every
I don't know if
producer just put everyone. Yes in capital letters? So honestly, I'm sorry guys. Apparently when it gets to like 10 o'clock, everything just completely falls apart on on my screen. But let's get me off and let's actually have a look at the standings and see how everyone is doing at the end of week 2. Drum roll, please. They're not ready, are they? I called it too early.
You've called it too early, haven't you? 1 sec. Yeah, well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Very nice interview, nonetheless. Oh, here we go. Never mind. Here we have the standings.
All right, so at the top of the standings, Resolve 4-0. Envision and Bulldog now tied for that second and third place with 3-1. Then it is London, who are 2-2. After that, we have Enclave and MNM tied 1-2. Barrage Academy 1-3. And then at the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately, Demise still knocking on doors, looking to see if they can find some reaping. 0-4.
Yeah, the standings not fully updated, taking into account the most recent game. So, Enclave are tied 6th and 7th, or tied 6th with each other, whereas M&M 1 spot up, 2-2. So yeah, all in all, we're starting to see. Nah, it's all right. We're starting to see some kind of, semblance of a league. Demise, unfortunately for them, 0-4. Resolve, top end, looking like most likely the strongest team. And interesting to hear from Regan actually honestly saying, I still believe that we can win the whole thing. We got some replays from earlier on today. And
what was your favorite game of the day, Jamada?
It was the opening game. Even though we was put through some peril covering that one, it was still a very entertaining game. This game, no slouch either, honestly, getting to finally see BB Muffin on something that isn't so utility heavy, albeit in this clip, he's definitely getting bopped around a little.
Yeah. I'm genuinely Resolve was my favorite game. Mainly just because of the ending. God damn it, Resolve. Nexus seem to be even though they're 4-0 on Nexuses.
Yeah.
They've almost
mentally
they've attempted to kill a Nexus 6 times.
Yes, they're mentally 4-2 versus Nexus. As we have this what could have been a pretty bad fight for M&M, but
I just don't know how they kept doing this. Every fight was Enclave are winning, Enclave are winning. Wait, what happened?
Honestly,
M&M are winning.
I feel like M&M might be our strongest team fighting team in the league, or at least they're shaping up like they're definitely on the top.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Jamada. Because they're the only team that takes a goddamn fight. No one else is fighting at the moment. It is just M&M. M&M are the only team that are all right, let's go for the brawl. Everyone else is kind of playing a lot more reserved. So yeah, but honestly, I can't wait to see more team fights from M&M.
Yeah, it's nice though to actually see different identities from different teams, right? Envision, up until today, they really wanted to play that heavy utility into Spark style. A lot of the rest of the teams, Enclave, Resolve, Barrage, they prefer these sort of team fighting compositions where they want to play games out slow, and M&M like to scrap. That just seems to be their thing right now. Yeah. So it's nice to actually see some identity. In previous seasons and splits, you could definitely see a little bit too much unison, you could say. So some uniqueness here from the teams is definitely very nice. And yeah, excited to see what kind of things we do get out of a lot of these different rosters.
Well, unfortunately, UKLC Week 2 is coming to a draw as I slowly freeze and turn into more and more pixels. But before I get my my pixelated face off the screens, let's actually have a quick look at next Sunday's matches to see what we've got coming up. So we'll be starting off with Envision versus Resolve. God damn, that's going to be exciting. Then London versus M&M. That's also going to be bloody exciting. Enclave versus wow, we actually have these games are so stacked.
Yeah, all of these teams, give or take, are on the same side of the table, so gonna be pretty exciting. The only potential mismatch here gonna be Enclave and Bulldog. Other than that, Barrage Demise should be really close. The opening 2 games should be, I would expect, pretty bloody unless Resolve really try and put Envision in a chokehold. So very exciting week 3 lineup coming into that Sunday.
Yeah, genuinely, really, really good games coming up on Sunday. And unfortunately, here at the UKLC, that is week 2 done. I know it's flying by. What's going on? We don't have any more UKLC action this week, but we do have 3 days of NLC starting tomorrow over on twitch.tv/NLC LOL. So make sure you tune in and join us for even more UK and a little bit of Nordics, but mainly UK action here over on the NLC channel. But that will be doing it for us. Make sure you tune in next week on Sunday, same time, same place. You can join us on Twitch or on the BBC iPlayer or BBC Sport. I can't remember which one it is. I'm sorry. Don't fire me. And we'll be back. Me and Jamada will be back for more UK action. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you on Sunday.
The